So if you're watching this video, you're probably in the market to purchase a home, which isn't an easy task. From the steps to taken before looking at houses, all the way to getting the keys in hand, this workshop has you covered. Hi, my name is Colby Garza, a local realtor in Western New York. Over the last 9 years, I've helped my buyers find their dream home. And I want to make it as simple as possible and educate you through each and every step of the way. Let's talk about some misconceptions. The market's too expensive right now. It's going to crash. It is true that houses are expensive and the market can crash at any time, but we haven't seen any signs of that happening. But that shouldn't stop you from buying a home if you feel you're ready for it. It's easy to get caught up in the opinions of others and the headlines. But at the end of the day, this is your decision. And if it makes sense to you, I say go for it. I'll never get the home I want. The earlier you start working with someone, the better chance you have of finding that perfect home. Also, I just want to remind you that you're looking for your first home. You don't have to live there forever. A lot of the time, a first home is a great way to build equity and it will set you up to afford your forever home. I can do this myself. You sure can, but I don't recommend it. Working with a buyer's agent like myself doesn't cost you anything coming out of your pocket. But not working with a buyer's agent can cost you money in the long run from overpaying for a home or making an uninformed decision. I'm here to make sure that you find the best house for you and your situation. So yes, you can do it alone, but I don't recommend it. Let's talk about the timeline. People who work with me typically get into a new home within 6 months, but it could take longer depending on your situation, which is totally fine. So when should you start shopping? A lot of people want to rush right into looking for a home, but I highly recommend getting pre-approved first. You technically don't need a pre-approval to look at houses, but it'll give you a better idea of what homes you can afford. Once linked up with a lender, they'll go over everything you need. They'll tell you what loan types you qualify for, such as FHA, conventional, or if you're a veteran, VA. They'll also tell you what you're approved for, what the monthly payment will look like, and also what the down payment would be. Typically, the payment is about 3 to 10% of the purchase price. Now let's talk about interest rates. I'm sure you've heard about interest rates nonstop, and it can make the real estate market sound scary. At the end of the day, we can't control interest rates. Always recommend to focus on the monthly payment and making sure the numbers make sense for you rather than focusing on the rate. Date the rate, marry the house. Most people look at 5 to 7 homes before closing. To make things easier, I set my clients up with a custom home search. They'll automatically show you houses that fit your criteria. That way you don't have to keep scrolling through Zillow trying to find homes to look at. They get sent right to you. The custom home search is completely free. Just message me and we can get you set up. Some things to consider when searching for a home are thinking about your wants and needs and your do's and don'ts. Also ask yourself, is this a stepping stone to your next home or is this a forever home? And don't forget about location. Think about your commute to work and other places you frequent, as well as schools in the area. Once we find homes you're interested in seeing, it's time to schedule some showings. I like to schedule as many showings as we can so we can really compare the houses and find out what you like and don't like. I want to stress that we don't have to fall in love with the first house we look at. Through the showing process, you'll find the home you love. It might just take some time. 100% of the people I've helped find a home said that the house that they ended up in was the best house for them. So let's talk about the 2 different types of showings. We have open house and private showings. In an open house, everyone that wants to see that house is going to be at that allotted time, even the listing agent. So you're really not going to have that private time looking at that house. And you're not going to really see that vision of you being in that house with you and your family. But they're probably going to have some refreshments. So grab some chips and grab some water and I'll meet you in the car. So a private showing is just going to be us. We're going to be able to walk around the home, really visualize yourself in that house. During this time, we'll really be able to look at the important parts of the house and talk about the house without the public leaning over our shoulders. So we went through pre-approval, we went through showings. Let's talk about making an offer. The list price is typically what the house doesn't go for. It's all about having the right offer. It's not necessarily the price that makes a good offer, it's what comes with it. These are a few things that I think are important when writing an offer. Let's start with earnest money, which is the deposit you put down for good faith. This is typically going to be 1 to 3%. I say go as high as you can afford and it feels comfortable. Something to keep in mind, that earnest money does go towards the purchase of your house. Next is inspection. It's a voluntary one, but I say if this is your first home, get the inspection done. However, we can say that we do not want an inspection. There's a time and place to waive an inspection, but that's why it's important to have a good agent. And then concessions. Concessions are something that you necessarily don't have the assets to bring to the table, so we're gonna ask for those. So say if you don't have the cash for closing, a simple concession can help you do that. A lot of times, people think the most money wins, but in actuality, it's the best terms that win. Something I take pride in is writing those competitive offers without going over budget. Similar factors that are going to give you that competitive offer is who your lender and attorney is. Sellers are more than likely to take the offer with the local lender and attorney that they trust. So we found your dream home, we got your offer accepted, now what? This is where it seems like our communication isn't every day. We're not going every weekend to see homes. But trust me, behind the scenes, a lot is going on. During this time, we're gonna get attorney approval, and the lender's gonna reach out to you to make sure that all the lender requirements are met so that we can have a closing day. I've done deals as fast as 29 days, but typically you're gonna be in a 45, 60-day range. Before closing day, we're gonna have a final walkthrough. It's literally what it says. This is our final time to walk before closing. We're just gonna make sure that everything is still in the same place that it was when we put the offer in. This is not an inspection. And if we sign off on the final walkthrough, awesome. We made it to closing day. This is where we're gonna sign for hours and hours, but it's okay. At the end of it, you'll see me at your house giving you those keys. And I hope this video made you feel more confident about the home buying process. Whether you work with me or not, I wanna make sure that you're knowledgeable about the process. And if you do wanna work with me, I would love to have the opportunity to find your next home. Feel free to reach out and we'll get started.